All right, so we're just pulling up to Signature Galleries in the Venetian, which is where there is an art gallery that is, well, created by a friend of mine named Brennan O'Connell, who just so happens to be a very famous artist. So let's go do a quick interview and see what he's got going on. All right, so today I'm here with Brennan O'Connell, and actually my first question for you is, I've been told that you're called the Warhol of Walmart. What's that story about? Because this is like new information to me. I was like, I know who Warhol is, but of Walmart, what does that mean?
Well, about almost 15 years ago, 16 years ago, I had this idea of following an actress around Walmart and having her shop, and I would take pictures of her, and then I started making paintings of this classic American blonde in flip-flops and summer shorts, shopping for candy and shoes, and then I started painting like just the whole environment of Walmart. I guess it was like 2006 I did my first show about it. And I think I made the comment that the post-impressionists in France painted the commercial boulevards of Paris, and Walmart put the boulevards under a roof, and I'm painting the aisles of Walmart. And so one of the newspapers called me the Walmart of Warhol, or the Warhol of Walmart, and that sort of followed me for a number of years.
Yeah, it's still stuck. That's awesome. So where do you get your inspiration for your art? Because it's all very diverse. I mean, a lot of it's like different creativity. So because you got shoes, you got people, you got famous celebrities, where do you get your inspiration from?
Well, first off, the idea of Walmart was kind of baffling to me, that it's the most curated space on the planet, and you have miles and miles within a store of product, and so I was very interested in the blurry, unfocused view of a grocery store, like the two big ones behind us. And then I like the idea of seeing brands out of the corner of my eye pushing a cart at 5 miles per hour, and seeing that you could still recognize the brand out of the corner of your eye. This is Life, this is Wonder Bread, this is Life, this is Fluff. And so at different times, because the project has lasted a while, I was more focused on the architecture or the grandeur of the space, and other times I was focused on the shopper, and then other times just the brands. And so my original idea was to find that big sandbox between Edward Hopper and Andy Warhol.
Yeah, it's beautiful artwork. I mean, as a viewer and a fan of your artwork, it's just absolutely beautiful. So I have to ask, what is like the price range? Because these are not cheap paintings. So what's like the most expensive painting that you've sold so far?
Well, I've done some larger paintings than this, like the size of the Black Wall.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's 6 figures.
Oh, wow, really?
So, but generally paintings that I'm showing for private collectors is, $1,500 to $40,000.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really put a price on art, right? It's priceless, really. So, yeah, this is some beautiful art. So you got some favorite pieces in here, I'm assuming, right? Some that you've like really stuck to you, or the creative process was like, oh, I had to paint this. It really spoke to me.
Well, it's funny how at different times, different things come into mind, but Cosmopolitan magazine gave me a couple pages a while back where I had Taylor Swift, Kim Kardashian, and Lena Dunham in front of fashion magazines. And so the Taylor Swift gets a lot of attention here. And I also like the Snoop Life paintings that I did. So those are fun. But I guess sometimes I'm painting with my arm, like the big more abstract paintings. It's more like arm painting, and then sometimes I'm painting with my hand. So it's just a different energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we can get up and we'll talk about some of the individual paintings. You brought up the Taylor Swift painting and the Snoop Dogg, so we can go talk about those and show them. All right.
So of course there was that image that Kim did of Break the Internet.
Yeah.
So I did a painting of her in front of a rack of fluff and called it Fluff and Stuff. And I just thought it was like beautiful and funny, and Mel Ramos and other kind of pin-up artists would do these paintings like that. But I like mixing genres of like pop art and illustration, and so this is a combo of the two.
And then, of course, we have the Snoop Dogg painting. That was when I first met you. I looked on your Instagram and I saw the Snoop Dogg painting. I'm like, so what was this about? I see there's like the pot leaves on the eye for life, and then obviously the Snoop Dogg. So, what was your inspiration for that?
So I did a bunch of paintings of in digital paintings and NFTs of Life Cereal. I think it's like a great iconic brand, and putting Snoop in front of it was one element. I'm in the process of doing Snoop with Martha Stewart, and I took the dot of the eye, and on different ones I put different things. Like one I have the Star of David, one I have the Celtic Cross, on different paintings. Not this one. This one's just Snoop Life Leaf.
Yeah.
It should be called Snoop Leaf. But I have one of that mixes, ancient symbols for the different dot of the eye.
It's definitely, I mean, it's just, you see Snoop Dogg and you see it, you're like, oh, that makes sense, because it's perfect, because that's life for him, right? All right, so I got to ask about one of my favorites here is the shoes, because I'm a sneakerhead. So you got a lot of paintings about shoes, actually. You have the Flight Club, right?
Right.
And then this was a private shoe collection you took a picture of, right?
Right. This is a shoe collection in Phoenix. And I did another painting of that shoe collection, and it's to me the whole culture around sneakerheads, and my son's a basketball player, and that's how I got introduced to the world, and I didn't realize I would spend this much money on sneakers that lasted 2 months, but I have, and to me the Jordans are sort of the beginning of it all,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah, there's plenty of Jordans here, and yeah, that makes sense. That sort of like paved the path for the sneakerheads, was the Jordan 1s.
for the whole industry.
Yeah.
And the idea of collectibles, and I mean that other painting, I mean the painting's cheaper than the sneakers.
Yeah.
In that case, I think those are $50,000 sneakers under glass in New York. So essentially, I started with Walmart as everyday America retail, but sometimes I've expanded into other venues of retail. And I'm just, my whole genre, if you were to widen the angle on it, is like everyday America, and like just making that art out of things that we're not necessarily or not necessarily aware of it as fine art.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, hey, it was a pleasure to meet with you and talk about your collection. Is there somewhere we can find you on Instagram, on socials?
At BOC Artist is I have a little YouTube channel that has, different highlights, and also I talk about different artists, and then that's YouTube and Instagram. That's where I'm most active.
All right, go check them out.